Feels good to be back. Now, in the time that I've been gone, a lot has happened. Somehow you guys tanked the silver market. Good news, or is that bad news? It's bad news for people who really want to see $50 silver next month, but it's good news for people who are still in the accumulation phase. So now that we have the chance, it is time to back up the truck. In other important news, as everybody has probably heard, you can't turn on the news or look around the internet without hearing something about the debt ceiling. And this is something that stackers and other financially savvy people have been warning about for a long time. And I'm not referring to the current crisis. There's one almost every year. You can count the number of times where it's gone through the raise of the limit without much problem. And the funny thing here is the people who don't want to address the issue or are reluctant to be the ones to vote to raise the debt ceiling are looked at as the problem. Now, imagine you have a credit card and you max it out, right? You're maxed out, you have no more credit on that card. But then imagine you're in control, or you and a group of your friends are in control of the limit to your credit card. And you go to everybody and just go, oh, well, we're out of money. Like, we got to put off that trip, or we can't buy this, or we can't do that. And then everyone goes, oh, well, we'll just raise the limit a bit. And we'll just raise the limit a bit. Every year, this basically happens to the United States government. If you look at the debt clock, and if anybody tracks those kinds of things in government spending, it was impossible 10 years ago, probably, to not only balance the budget, but for us to get to a point where we could pay that down. We are on a runaway hype train on the financial side that just seems to have no end. And that's where stackers and other financially savvy people have been saying for years, the buck's got to stop somewhere. Somewhere eventually, this is going to come to a head. We owe more money now than we did 10 years ago by double or almost triple, I think. Again, I don't study it, don't quote me, but I know the majority of it was printed there around the pandemic. We went crazy and printed money like nobody's business. And now here we are, and we're about to raise the limit again. We're about to go even more into debt. And what is that going to mean? It means hard times ahead. It means the devaluation of your fiat dollars to a level that previously was probably heard in fiction tales of financial apocalypse and doomsday scenarios. I mean, it is going to get very bad. The economy's already very nervous and on thin ice as far as company spending and investments in the future, because the commercial side of spending is so scared right now, for lack of a better term, and everybody is saving as much as they can. Or maybe not even saving is the best word, just not spending. They are unsure about the future, and so they feel that they would want to have more money on hand today, just in case tomorrow is worse. And that's true. That's a good thing to have, but it shouldn't only be when these times get really tough. You should prepare for it ahead of time. So I don't know how this is going to play out, but we all know it's just not good for us, for the country, for people in general. Whether you make a lot or you make a little, this just is not a good thing for the American public at large. So tough times ahead. Go check into your research, see what you can do, save money, get that emergency cash fund up, cut back on spending, do the things you can, because when it does begin to collapse, when the house of cards does begin to fall, it's going to be bad. And hopefully it's slow and we kind of see it coming. But there are plenty of financial experts that have said basically one day, just, the show's over and it's going to be downhill from there. So in the interim, what can you do? Save money, invest in precious metals if you are so inclined. And right now, the price has dropped from its recent high levels that we did see. So if you can back up the truck, now is a good time. I know not too long ago I was paying $31, $32 for an ounce of silver in some places, and now we're back to somewhat more reasonable levels as far as the spot price goes. Your experience with premiums is going to vary based on your pieces and where you're purchasing. And I recently, for those of you who are still watching, went to my first coin show. Now, I will say I didn't have a lot of time. I could only stop in for a short bit, and I had the kids with me. And they were interested, they were somewhat excited, but my son's interest comes and goes at his whim. And he was good for a while, then he kind of lost it towards the end, which is understandable. It was a small coin show, nothing too big, nothing too fancy, but they had a lot of interesting things. I tried to get around to everywhere I could. I picked up some stuff. War nickels below spot. Still got them below spot. It's crazy, but those deals are still out there. So war nickels below spot. I got some 40 percenters to finish off my jar. So my jar is now completely full. I can't fit any more in there. What else did I get? The kids got a bunch of little stuff, free stuff that the dealers would hand out. It was very, not surprising maybe, but it was very nice to see just how many dealers are really reaching out to try to enrich the hobby into the younger generations that are exposed to it. And so they got a bunch of wheat pennies from the coin show themselves just for coming. And then various dealers gave them certain things. Some dealer gave them copper rounds. Another dealer gave them each a coin. One was a recreation of some kind of gold piece, not gold actually, obviously, but some kind of recreation of California something gold piece. And then my daughter got like a very bad, like worse than coal, seated Liberty dime. Now it's got some holes drilled in it and things, but it's still a silver dime. He gave that to her for free. It was very cool. And the kids, albeit, they're kids, they did enjoy themselves. They liked looking at some of the cool stuff. It was kind of upsetting because it was a small venue. So, I mean, we weren't like stepping on each other. Me with two kids, having trouble kind of maneuvering and we're taking up a lot of counter space when we're standing there looking. So that was kind of unfortunate. I would have liked to have been able to get some more alone time and some different sections, but it was very nice and I enjoyed it. I got to network a little bit, got to talk to a couple people in my area, which hopefully pans out for the future. But yeah, I was just really thrilled with what I saw, the offerings, like just you don't always see things, right? And then you go to a coin show and all of a sudden the things that you almost never see seem to be everywhere. It's kind of refreshing to know that they are still out there and they can still be got. So very interesting there. First coin show, I'm sure, of many to come, but that's kind of what I've been up to. That and work. Lots and lots and lots of work. So forgive me. I'm going to try to get back on the wagon here a little bit. I don't have any coins to hunt this weekend, but I'll see what I can come up with. I appreciate everyone's time and attention, and I will see you in the next video.